Hey, good morning once again. Welcome everyone to our webinar. As I said before, my name is Lloyd. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Palladium, and I'll be taking you through this event. You'll obviously see there's a panel of guest speakers that we have, and I'll just introduce them shortly. They will take you through specific sections of our webinar. I'll just show you the agenda and then introduce them as we go. So today we're going to cover our POP enhancements, premium release, release 1 and release 2, our business alerts, our evolution mobile CRM, mobile and WMS app, our payroll, and then we'll just give you a closing remarks and show you our roadmap as to where we are headed. I'm going to pass this opportunity to Stephen. Stephen, our managing director, and he'll take you through the first bits of this presentation. Right, Stephen?
So thanks to everyone attending, and really appreciate the time. One of the things, as they say, the only thing money can't buy is time. So we're going to go through this very quickly. We've got 90 minutes and we're going to make the most of those. And apologies again for starting 10 minutes late. The last year has been a phenomenal year for Palladium. Actually, we grew year on year by 30%, which in a business that's 10 years young or 15 years young from our old accountmate days, actually lying closer to 20 years young, is quite an achievement. And that growth has predominantly come from our partners. So as the statement says, you know, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And I just want to thank you guys very much for your support during these trying times. So one of the slides I like is this slide here, and it's really the Palladium difference. If you look on the left-hand side, you see the ecosystem of what we're trying to achieve, and you'll see Magento Web Store integration, which is more from Magento to Shopify to WooCommerce, our core accounting and field services, and a lot of mobile data hosting. We've done a lot on projects, custom development less and less. In fact, if Stephen Wright, our head of development, was around, he would shoot me for having that in there, because we are on a development freeze at the moment, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And business alerts and reporting, and something really close to my heart is alerts and notifications. And I'll talk about the automation function going forward. And in terms of Palladium, we've tried to stay away from competing with the traditional accounting products in actual processing and looking at business improving features. And we talk about increasing turnover, improving margins, operational efficiency, but a lot of that's done through automations. And in the last 6 months, you'll have seen a large shift into getting our mobile apps really as leading edge as we could. And I believe we've probably got the most advanced solution around. And Donovan, who's very passionate about that, will show you a couple of cool things. But yeah, so on the automations, and there's a lot of words going around like RPA and bots and IoT, etc. You know, we've been using business alerts, or now Palladium alerts, for many years, and we've just written our own. And really what the alerts is really a cool tool, because it's managing information by exception. There's too much information around to go and read reports to tell you where things are going wrong. So we manage that, or we consume that information through dashboards and through automated reports and notifications. Why read a report to find out where there's a problem when the system can send you details of that problem on a real-time basis? And it allows people to be a lot more mobile as well. You never have to be a slave to a PC. And Javesh is going to talk a lot about that. I'm probably stealing a few of his lines, but he'll probably repeat it because repetition is very good. But what I like business alerts, or one of the key functions of notifications in this type of thing of robotics, is it changes people's behavior. If you can start changing people's behavior of your customers, of your staff, or your suppliers, you can have a real difference on real impact on your business. So all statuses of orders with customers, or just sending an email around to your staff on the salesperson's performance, no one wants to be at the bottom, right? So it changes behavior. And you can think of an unlimited number of reports that you want to send out to your clients. And often the trick to business is actually understanding why the clients are calling you and automate that notification for them. And Aldino's going to touch on that. He's been doing that for many, many, many years. He may look young, but he's got a lot of gray hair under that bald head of his. So one of the key things is we're talking about that I've got is the POPI Act or GDPR. Now, so the POPI Act is effectively the same thing as the GDPR in Europe. And what it really is all around is about protection or protecting customer and supplier and staff member information. And if, you know, so it's not just about opting out, it's about the protection of information. And we've done a ton of things in Palladium and all our products. One of the key things is obviously encryption of personal information. So now it's encrypted in the database. So if someone gets hold of that Palladium database, the information is going to be unreadable. Through SQL, they're only going to be able to read that information through a Palladium front-end client. The other one we've got is database connection information. So when we connect to the database, particularly across WANs, we would encrypt password. We're now encrypting the full connection string. That also goes down to APIs and certain things we've done on the web side of things, especially our hosting, is all HTTPS certification. We only allow connectivity from HTTPS clients. So there's a lot of work gone in on the background on the security. Another function that we've added into Palladium is reset password with tokens. So I'm not sure if that's GDPR, but it's really a cool feature, and I'm going to show you that. The other one is a session inactive timeout. So if someone leaves the screen for a specific length and time, that the system will actually time out, almost like a Windows screensaver password. The other one is password protection on all emailed customer and supplier documents. So if you email a document, the password would be the customer account number, and we're going to change that to become definable by customer and or supplier. And it's not just the emailed sales or documents, it could be the Excel documents, the PDF documents, the Word documents, whatever's allowable to be emailed from Palladium will be password protected. And the last one, I would say second to last one, is the password policy. You'll see there on the screen, and I'm going to take you into it, where we can set password policies, which is pretty nice. And also we have an email notification on login. So you can set the option to have a login when someone emails. So I'm going to take a leap of faith here, and I'm actually going to share my screen. I was told never do anything live in a presentation, but I've never been one for to follow the norms. So I'm just going to go here. I'm hoping you guys can see my screen. Now I'm going to go into Premium here. All right, now you'll see here now I've got users, and I've got reset password and forget password. So reset password would require me to enter my password like so, and forget password would allow me to say, well, I actually don't remember what my password is, so let me enter my email address, and I'll send a token. So what the system does actually, it goes into because it knows the Palladium database connectivity or credentials there, it actually goes and installs a token that's valid for 15 minutes against my username. So then what I'll do is I will go here and I will go into no reply, and I've just received it there, I think, and it's 71015911. So 71015911, and my new password. And they've agreed, and it's changed successfully. So now I can log in. And hopefully I'm in. So now I'm going into Palladium here, and I'll go into password policy under the control panel. And you'll see here now there's multiple options. So what this allows me to do is allows me to create a password policy, make it inactive, but different password policies for different profiles of people. As an example, people on my front counter may want an aggressive password policy that I will get the system to time out after 2 minutes. Whereas in my finance department, or the director's office where there's never anyone in there, I'll set the timeout to be 30 minutes because I know that they never check the system anyway. So it just depends on what you want to do. We define the amount of wildcard characters, caps, etc., and of course the interval to change. But what's nice also here is there's your service session timeout interval, and below is by password policy to define whether you send a notification on login, yes or no. And I'm hoping that I have actually received a login alert to say that I've just logged in on the system. So in terms of Poppy, I think we've done more than enough. And let me just go back here. Maybe just go back here, Lloyd. Sorry, we have a technical problem. Please be patient. Okay. Why is he that? So, okay, now so we go back to the GDPR and Poppy enhancements. Now, at the bottom there, it says, out of adversity comes opportunity. This is a great opportunity to get our clients onto the latest version. It's going to be in the business, enterprise, and of course, premium editions. So now I'm going to take you into the premium version. It was probably around a year ago where we started launching or doing soft launches on the premium product, and you'll see we're going to call it release 1 and release 2, but it's version 1. Now at the moment we're on version 24 and 25, so I think about 17 of those versions was actually fixes to the multi-bin function. So for those of you that have been around with us for this, thanks for the leap of faith, but and your patience really, because getting the multi-bins right has been challenging for the business, to say the least. I'm not going to go through these features here. They're available on brochures. I think we now have a page on our website on the Palladium Premium features. And what I'm going to do is basically, that was the key features that was released on version 1. In case anyone's writing stuff down, when this thing is finished, you're going to get a recording sent to you. So this entire presentation is recorded. The second one is version 11 to 15. So it's still in release 1 and soft bill of materials, drop shipments. Ironically, the workshop module was released in this version. And offline point of sale, create customers, process customer receipts. And you'll notice in all the releases, you've got WPF activation phase 1. The reason we're going into a development freeze is purely because of the WPF release on converting the product into a 4-tier architecture, MVVM architecture. So it's a C# MVVM architecture, WPF, which is the latest and greatest that Microsoft has in terms of the desktop applications. And I'll show you the roadmap when we finish that. So premium version 24 just had a couple of small features in that release, but again, from version 16 to 24 has really been a lot of bug fixes and predominantly around the multi-bin locations. So department allocations on receipts and payments, item web store attributes. You see a lot of stuff we are doing is integration to web, and we're getting a lot of business and a lot of demand on clients want integration with web stores. So we're doing a lot of work on our plugins. We've actually got 2 full-time developers now just working on our plugins. Invoice import function. I know a lot of you are going to say that should have been there ages ago, but it's been put in there. And another nice one is view customer registration details. So if you go into the system under the help, you can actually view how many all the active connections, and it tells you all the computers, so you don't have to call us anymore to get all the information there. The next one is Palladium Release 2 or version 25. So again, WPF activation phase 2, which has been done. So it's a lot of modules that you actually won't notice have been converted, but it's all in WPF. And I made a joke the other day around someone, you're probably not going to you'd see the effects of WPF because we have to make it look uglier to comply to the WinForms interface. And that's sort of true. But what this moves our framework, when we move to WPF, it takes us from a fat client where the logic is in the actual screens to a thin client where the logic is dying in an API layer on the database itself. So it changes a lot of things for us. Profit center allocations on stock counts, unique customer and supplier control accounts. There's real meaty things in here. The bank manager Yodlee direct importers in this release, although it's been out and about for quite a while. Donovan will talk on mobile user tracking, which is probably one of my favorite features. Multi-level PO approvals. So instead of just one person, it's groups. And one of the nice ones is multiple GL and department budgets. So you can run financial reports on multiple budgets, forecasts, different years. And you see the second bottom, we've got GARP point of sale, hospitality integration, and Sage Evolution conversion. And we've tested it on a number of databases, and we're getting some great success on that version. It's not in version 24, but it will be merged into 24. Okay. And what's not in 25 is actually the POPI requirement. So the POPI's in 24. There's no POPI in 25. However, version 25 has had a massive all the development on offline point of sale has gone into version 25. So convert invoice to sales order, assign cash draws offline, customer images, item profiles, optional fields, serial numbers, lot numbers, and for Kenya, we have Fortified and M-Pesa integration, Mr. Green Loyalty, and Zambia Revenue Authority on the ESD integration. So there's been lots and lots and lots done on this version. And one of the ones I missed out was the third one, which was full Palladium mobile module integration. So offline point of sale, if you have offline point of sale, you can actually access every other Palladium module, but in a real-time state. So if you get into offline point of sale, it is offline local database. So you effectively have two connection strings. One for your standard Palladium on the centralized data, and your standard user rights will apply. And the other one is in the offline point of sale, where that would be your local database. I think that makes a lot of sense. We've got a lot of pushback on that because people want to do other features in that type of state. The next one, I wasn't going to show you, was release 3 or version 26. And the key feature here is WPF activation release number 3, which is accounts receivable, inventory, accounts payable, all the meaty modules, all the data conversion. Accounts receivable has been converted for probably the best part of 7 months already. And we just hired another 2 developers just to get us over the finishing line with this WPF conversion. That is why I'm not allowed to do any more development inside the core Palladium. However, that doesn't stop me doing things in alerts, mobile, payroll, and other things like that. So you'll see some good features, alternate items, item supersession, verification and return, price and quantity. This has all actually been developed already. In fact, it's been developed for about 6 months, but this is the core framework for the WPF version. So that's why these features haven't been released. And one of the key features there is the second one, which is multiple units of measure. So in terms of multiple units of measure, you can maintain one item and multiple units of selling and of buying. So I know that there's going to be questions on releases. We're saving that till the end. So we do have 1 or 2 decent surprises, I think, in store for you. I'm not saying whether they're good surprises or bad surprises, but you decide on that at the end. And that is a nutshell on what development we've been doing in the last year. There's a lot of clients out on 25. There's a lot of clients using 24. If you want to know the difference between 24 and 25, it is this simple. Version 24 currently has the POPI Act. Version 25 does not have the POPI, but it's going to be merged in the next week or so. Version 24 is very stable, and a lot of clients are out there on 24, and that's why we can say categorically the multi-bins is stable. We don't have that many sites out there on 25 with multi-bins and recommend not using 25 for multi-bins just yet. However, if you're looking for ESD integration, Zambia, and other features like that, or the integrations on the point of sale, then we would be happy to release version 25. We've been using version 25 internally, probably for the last 2 or 3 months. So I can tell you we've picked up a number of the growing pains. But you'll see the products will be merging probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So there's a lot happening very quickly. All of these products will have a new serial number and a new activation. And like I said, the POPI is going to be available on business and enterprise as well. So I'm sort of sticking to time, to be honest, which is not true to my nature. In terms of demonstrations on these products, straight after this, we'll be sending out a series of training courses and sessions for Update 1 and Update 2. And in those sessions as well, we will also be covering the new features that's been available in Palladium Premium. And starting next month, we're going to start now contacting clients to encourage them to upgrade. We've never offered the upgrade to our clients just yet, because we've wanted to make sure that we have a very stable release, particularly with the multi-bin level product. On that note, I'm going to hand you over to Javesh, who's going to hopefully wow you on our new Business Alerts application. Thanks a lot.
Hi all, how's it going? Thank you once again for attending the webinar today. Stephen Corrigan ran you through the functions and features that we currently have, exciting features that we're going to have on Palladium. So I'm going to run you through the the Palladium alerts. As Stephen Corrigan mentioned prior, the Palladium alerts basically drives business through automation for critical data. The Palladium alert software is browser-based. It eliminates the middleman in terms of alerts. Instead of sending it to a 3-level process, you can send it directly to the source. It enables you to basically allow change behavior within a business from a customer to staff level. So to begin, let's get down to it. I'm going to show you guys how the Palladium alerts work. And for my example for today, I have used the credit notes over 10,000 Rand. Okay, so basically this alert is going to be basically triggering an alert immediately to the email address that has been set up when a credit note has been passed for a value of 10,000 Rand or more. Right, so I'm just going to share my screen here. Let's see what happens. Okay. 100% guys. So firstly, to begin, on the Palladium alerts, we firstly have to ensure that we have write our query within SQL for the necessary output that's required. As you can see over here on this screen over here, I've added my query for my credit limit, for my credit notes over 10,000. You will also basically see at the bottom over here, I've also added the script that needs to be required to be added in the Palladium alerts. So moving on, please note that when you add in the alert on the Palladium alerts application, all you need to do is just basically remove the DBOs and then just paste your select query directly into the alerts. So to begin, I'm going to go onto my Palladium alert screen. And like I said, in today's example, I use credit note over 10,000 Rand. So step number one, we look at database monitoring. On the database monitoring tool is where we configure our SQL credentials as well as our database that we need to connect to. Please note that the query will only run successfully once the view has been created under the relevant SQL database. So I'm also able to filter this through the various conditions, as you can see over here. And in my recording, which I'm going to show you guys now, is new records, because every time a credit note for a value of 10,000 Rand has been passed through the system, it should automatically send the email through to the relevant responsible person. Right, so you can see I'm able to filter this via new records, change records, delete records, and all records. So basically all records shows any record that has been into the system, okay? Any change records, as well as deleted records, and new records just basically sends through, like I said, immediately once a credit note has been added. So I'm going to add new records over here as an example. Thereafter, at the bottom over here, this is where I do my database configuration. So I'm configuring my server, I'm configuring the Palladium database, I'm choosing the type of server, and I'm also selecting the query. So based on the query that I've showed you guys here initially, you will see that I've added it over here. And should I want to know if my alert is successful, my query is going to pull through the necessary output, I'm able to click onto my verify query. And here I'm able to select and see my system date, the invoice ID, which is a credit note, the customer description, the total. So as you can see over here, all of these values are above 10,000 Rand. I'm also able to add unique keys, which can be added as well on your field. Once completed, I'm then going to click on to save, and that's going to move me onto the screen where I need to do the next setup. The next setup on Palladium is the report designing, one of my favorite parts of it. So on the report designing, we just put a name, which I usually put as report design. And on the screen over here is where I'm able to download my report template. So please note the report template that's downloaded directly from step 2 is the template that needs to be added and customized on this screen. So this is my Palladium report designer screen. On the screen is where you're able to see I have created an alert, well, rather a report design for credit notes over 10,000. I just added a Palladium accounting logo. I'm able to add a group header, so I can group it by customer, I can group it by invoice number, I can group it by date. I've added 3 fields over here, which is the date of the transaction, the credit note number, and also the total value. At the bottom, as you can see over here, I'm able to add multiple group clauses as well. So all I need to do is just click on to save. Upon clicking on to save, I will then just go back into my alert and I will upload a report. Upon clicking on to upload report, I will upload the specific report. And should I just want to see the preview of how the report will look when it's sent out to the relevant email address, which I'm going to set up, I'll just click on to preview, and then automatically it will send through a alert directly showing the various credit notes which have exceeded a specific value on a specific date as well. Moving on, once that's completed and I'm happy with it, I can just put the required output file name and I just click on to save. Upon clicking on to save, before I move on to my email step, I can schedule this alert as well. How often would I want this alert to be sent? Right, so given the alert that we have created, we are going to be adding this as an ongoing alert. So I'm just waiting for the screen to populate. Here, so this is my schedule type. So I can schedule an alert to be sent through hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, or ongoing. So in this step, we're going to be utilizing the ongoing. Right, I can choose the start date, and I can also say within every 4 to 5 minutes of the alert that has been created, I would like to receive an alert for any credit note, etc. completed. Once done, all I do is I click on to save. Upon clicking on to save, you're able to see that my schedule is now ongoing. The next step would be my email. So this is where I configure my SMTP details. So currently, I'm just going to use the reporting at palladium.co.za. This would usually be used for clients who are currently hosted with Palladium. I'm able to add a from email address as well, which is what I've just mentioned prior. And I'm also able to add an email address here. Please note that I'm also able to use a database field to send it to a group of people as well. So it's not limited to a 2CC and a BCC as well. Okay, I'm able to do a split report. I'm able to split the report by document number, by customer name, etc. And I'm also able to add messages. So on my HTML message, so I can have a plain text message that can be sent on email. And I can also have an HTML message which will pull through the relevant data field that needs to be shown on the specific email. Please note, I'm able to insert fields, the additional fields that's required, etc. Right, once I'm happy with that, I just click on to save. I click on to save again. And all I need to do is, if I want to manually execute it to see if I'm happy with the desired output, I can click on to manually execute, or let's do a real life scenario. So if I go in here, I go into Palladium. Can you guys see my Palladium? All right. I go into sales invoices. I'm just going to create an invoice. Right, this invoice value, just use this 12,500 Rand. I'll click on to record. Thereafter, I will credit this invoice. And immediately upon crediting the relevant invoice, I will receive my, sorry about that, I will receive my alert sent directly on Palladium. And that's the Palladium alerts. So if you guys want more information, you can just contact us, our support department. Or if you need additional training on how to utilize the function, you can just contact us and we will be able to assist you and set up your alerts for you as well. Thank you, guys.
How's it going, everyone? Hope you can hear me. I'm Aldino, and I'm gonna take you through a little module that we've written that integrates into Evolution CRM, as well as the Evolution procurement and PO approval module. I'm just gonna share my screen quickly. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to log on. Okay, so firstly, this module was designed to integrate directly into Evolution CRM module. So it still uses the current Evolution database structure. All it does is that it allows us to access the application via a browser. So what that means for us now is that we can access this via our desktop, using a Windows browser, alternatively on our mobile devices, using an Android browser or an iOS browser. So your approvers or your requesters or anyone who needs to access the module doesn't have to be office-based anymore. So this can be done from anywhere. So just to take you through it, I've just set up a basic workflow in Evolution, and that workflow is just to do a little bit of IT support. So I'm gonna first log on as a requester. So basically, I'm having an issue with my network, and I'm gonna log a CRM ticket on Evolution. Firstly, you'll see we've got a little dashboard or menu on our left-hand side, which allows us to see any incidents that are allocated to me as a user, any notifications specifying what's been ongoing with existing incidents, as well as any documents which have been uploaded to that incident. So what we've done with this as well is that we've allowed for a central repository where documents can be uploaded. So for example, if you're using the application on your mobile device, you could take a picture, you could upload a PDF, and all of those documents get uploaded to a centralized server. Okay, I'm just going to start quickly by doing a new incident. And if you are already or have you been exposed to Evolution, you will see that the display is similar to what you see on the Evolution desktop application. It integrates to all master files. So if you drop down on, for example, customer, you would see a list of your customers on the Evolution database. Same with inventory and all of that good stuff. I'm going to start by selecting my incident type. If we had multiple incident types set up in Evolution, then they would all display on the dropdown. You can see that once I've selected my incident type, it automatically inserts my workflow, and it tells me that my first step is going to first line support. You would also see a timer at the bottom, which would always continue running as long as the incident's open. So it helps us to track timelines, how long has an incident been open, as well as due by dates. We can select this as a linked event. If it's ticked as a linked event, then once you're on Evolution, it would display on the Evolution calendar as well. So I'm just going to put a little description here. Hi, my Wi-Fi is not working. And at this point, I could also add a document by clicking on the add document. If the document is located on my device or desktop, I can click on attach document, or I could add a new document to my list. So for now, I'm just going to tick on attach. And you will see that the document does get attached to the bottom of the incident. I'm now going to post my incident. Alternatively, if I've got my email set up, then it would use the SMTP details, which I set up as an administrator. I'm just going to show you the admin side of it. So this is where we set up our administration details. Basically, this, sorry.
Stop sharing.
Okay, so basically under the administrator. Okay, so sorry about that. So basically under the administration function is where we can set up to the different SQL databases for Evolution that we can connect to, as well as setting up an outgoing SMTP server. So what the outgoing SMTP is used for is, firstly, the users that are set up on Evolution would log in using their email credentials. And we've got the same forgot password functionality, which then gets emailed to the respective users. Also, these incidents can be emailed to customers internally based on what we want the incident to do. So for now, I'm just gonna post this incident. And it's going to leave my requester and move on to my next flow. So I'm just going to send that to first line support. And I'm going to log on as my first line support agent. Okay, so once I've logged on as my first line, I'd firstly be able to see a list of all my incidents and notifications that are linked to my profile. I can also sort them and arrange them and filter them by due date, by priority, all of that good stuff. If I need to print, I can print existing incidents. Alternatively, I can just edit them. And when I edit them, you'll see that we keep a full audit trail with date and timestamp, assigned by requester, approved by requester, and sent to first line support. We will also have access to any of the attachments that were added to that specific incident. And once I'm done, I can then close this incident, or I can escalate it to my the next person on my workflow. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the CRM. I just want to show you a little bit on the procurement side that we've developed. So it still works on the same application. However, under the administration function of the web application, we can specify whether this relates to our standard CRM or it's going to be procurement based. So with regards to Evolution, there's two sides to the procurement process. One being your procurement, which just allows for requisition approval, and the second being PO approval, which allows for a second phase of approval via purchase orders. So I think I could be running out of time, so I'm just going to give you a quick look and feel of what it looks like. Sorry about that. Okay, guys, I'll send you a few screenshots on what the PO approval looks like. I'm just not sure why it's not letting me log in. Okay, I'm gonna hand over to Donovan, who's gonna take over.
Good morning, everybody. As everyone knows, my name is Donovan. I'm the sales manager at Palladium. I'm going to be taking you through a very short presentation on the mobile application that has now officially been launched. So we've come out of beta testing and we've officially launched the mobile application. And yeah, so I'm going to take you through a very short demonstration. It's a very comprehensive app, and there's a lot of features and functionality that are included. Important to know is that it is by far the most fully or most comprehensive, fully integrated application that's available on the market at the moment. And the very key feature is that it's integrated or interacting with the live database all the time. So I'm just going to share my screen and jump into the demonstration to show you how it works. If you give me a second. Okay, so what you're looking at is Palladium Mobile. This is running on an Android device, obviously also compatible with both iOS and Windows. And I'm going to take you through a little bit of a workflow of how Palladium could fit within a client's business on a day-to-day process. And it'll cover a few aspects. So one would be from a sales aspect, the second would be warehousing, and then lastly, just touching on how Palladium Mobile can assist your drivers when it comes to deliveries. Okay, so there's a couple of things you'll notice. Your users have the ability to clock in when they get to work. When they take their lunch break, they can select take break. Obviously, when they end the break, they'll end it and clock out at the end of the day. And this allows you to record the amount of time that the user that's been using mobile has been spent working, and gives you a realistic timeline of the day, right? So for this specific demonstration, we're going to be at a customer and we're going to be generating a sales order while we're at the customer. So we will start by creating a new sales order. We'll then select the customer that we're going to be generating an order for. In this case, I'm going to be doing an order for Gigi's Pasta and Pizza. We'll then select the salesperson. If you have a default salesperson assigned to the customer, they would obviously be populated by default. We will then select the item that we're going to do the order for. So in this case, you'll see that the product images are synced through as well. Okay. And we're going to select a Acer laptop. All right, so at this point, we can specify the location that we're looking for or that we're going to get this device from, the quantity, price, any discounts, the default tax code, and then if there are any related items, you are able to look at them here and then add them to the order. So you'll see a laptop bag is related to the laptop, and we then have the ability to add it, right? So we're going to add this item. The next step would be to view the order details, specify required date, shipping address, delivery methods if you have any, which would obviously assign the cost as well, and then your total margin on the deal. Customer information will give you an overview of the customer's account, so account balances, any open orders, open quotes, or available credits should they have a credit limit. We have the ability to then email this directly from the mobile device to the customer by inserting the email address and the body of the email. And lastly, we can either capture a photo, add an attachment, or using the sign to glass functionality, capture the customer's signature. So in this case, we're going to get the customer to physically sign the order and click done. Right? We will then just confirm this order. Right, so you'll see that the same warnings that happen on Palladium apply to the mobile device. This customer has overdue invoices. It's asking me if I'd like to continue. I'm going to say yes in this case. It will then prompt me to email this to the customer that's been the signed document to the customer as well. I'm just going to say no in this case, right? All right, so then if we jump to Palladium, to the live system, and we go to the sales orders that have been created, you'll see that the very last sales order that's been created is for Gigi's Pasta and Pizza. We have obviously the purchase price with our delivery included, and there's an attached file here. So if we open up this attached file, you'll see that this is the signed order that the customer just signed, right? And you'll see that it includes the signature. I'll just zoom in a little bit. Another important thing is the link to a Google map, which shows the location that the salesperson was at the time that this order was signed, as well as the GPS coordinates. Okay. So the next part of this process would be to have our warehouse pick the stock so it can go out for delivery. All right. So in this case, we'll select the sales order and we will issue these tickets, the pick tickets. And then if we jump back to the mobile device, you'll see that the warehouse, using an Android scanner as an example, would have the ability to perform the stock pick in the warehouse. So if we open up the specific pick ticket, you'll see that it shows us the ordered quantity, the picked quantity, the location that we're picking out of. And the moment we specify that we've picked one item and we save it, it highlighted in green showing us that the correct amount's been completed, and we can then just save this picture. So the stock has now been picked and is essentially ready to be invoiced out and delivered. If we jump back to the live system, standard process would be to just convert the sales order into an invoice. Okay, so we've got our invoice ready here, and we would, in most cases, have a QR code or some sort on this the invoice that the driver would scan. In this case, I'm just going to use this invoice number to show you when the driver physically delivers the item, we can use the capture POD functionality, and I'm just going to manually enter the invoice number in this case. And what would happen is it will bring up the proof of delivery with this invoice at the client. So we're delivering the item, and we have an overview. What's the total delivery cost, etc. Have a look at the invoice number and all of that. Make sure we're delivering the correct item. And when we hit order details, again, either an attachment, a photograph, or a signature, and we're going to get this customer to sign the proof of delivery. Okay. As soon as you sign that proof of delivery and we confirm it, what this will now do is add the proof of delivery as an attachment to the invoice. Okay. And this is useful when sending out customer statements. As everyone knows, we have the ability to attach outstanding invoices, overdue invoices, and our PODs at the same time. All right. So if I show you the invoice that we've just created, and we have a look at it, you'll again see that the PODs have now highlighted with a number 1, shows that there's an attachment. And if we zoom into this, we've got the POD. Let's zoom in here. We've got the POD that's been signed by the customer, again with the GPS coordinate, as well as the link to the map. So that's really a really powerful feature and powerful functionality. And I think the most important is that we're interacting with a live database all the time. So there's no delay. You don't have anyone sitting waiting for things to come through. As they happen on the mobile device, they reflect on Palladium live at the same time. From a functionality point of view, also have the ability to add customers. From a management perspective, you have the ability to use the salesperson locator, which allows you to pinpoint in real time your salespeople or drivers on a live map, or view tracking history from days before, and you can actually see the routes that they've traveled. Okay. From a sales perspective, adding CRM activities, creating activities, creating tasks can all be done via the mobile device. When we have our purchase order approval set up in Palladium, they can be approved directly through the application. And then obviously giving your guys the ability to do stock counts, doing inventory inquiries, and then looking at a fairly comprehensive performance dashboard, which gives them a good overview of revenue generated daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or you can have your own custom date range as well. So it's a very comprehensive app, and it's a lot more comprehensive than anything on the market at the moment. And this, it's still very early days. I mean, we're constantly developing, constantly innovating, and this is most definitely the strongest mobile application that's integrated with an accounting system on the market. All right, so I'm going to jump into the sales dashboard that I told you about. So this dashboard, again, gives you an overview of company performance per person. So we can either select or deselect people in the top here, okay, specify the date range, and it allows us to have a snapshot of invoices that have been generated per person, quotes, orders, CRM activities, which would be recorded as appointments, hours worked with the user tracking functionality that we've got in Palladium, as well as distance traveled when we're visualizing and viewing our mobile users on a map. Okay, so we're able to specify between invoices, orders, and quotes, and it'll obviously give us different snapshots. We can expand on these by clicking on it, and it'll give us a breakdown of the orders per person and exactly what was invoiced, including foreign amounts. We can then take it a step further and visualize this data in either bar, pie charts, etc. And we can, it gives us a nice way of seeing what's happening on a day-to-day basis in the company. From a user tracking perspective, we can enlarge this map, and if we look at the live tracking, we would have our users pinpointed live on a map. If we look at tracking history, we're able to see exactly where our users have been, and it'll give us their locations in real time, you know, the days before, and show us what routes they've taken, etc. So this is a very comprehensive tool and a very powerful tool to have. One of the big advantages with the mobile sales dashboard is when we are live tracking users, we have the ability to specify that we want to show customers within a certain radius, which will then highlight the map with your customers on it, which gives you the ability to quickly identify this driver or this salesperson is closest to this customer. They need to go there. You know, we know that things happen. There are emergencies, urgent sales, urgent drop-offs, things like that. And this gives you the ability to be proactive rather than reactive. So that's really it. So we have business partner enablement training that we've started to really help do exactly what it says, enable our business partners to become a lot more fluent with our products. We understand that we do a lot of new releases and there's a lot of new features and functionality all the time. And the aim behind these training sessions are really to keep our business partners up to date and allow them to have a good understanding of the product they're selling. So they're very in-depth, right from setting up the product, right through to demoing, providing support, etc. So I would really encourage you to join these. We have a mobile application training session specifically focused on this type of information, and I would encourage our business partners to join that. You can view the calendar on our partners page on our website, and again we've sent out a form requesting that our partners sign up to get mobile licenses. We've given 3 mobile licenses to all our users, to all our business partners. So if you haven't completed that form yet, please go ahead and complete it. Within the next week, we're going to be sending out all our mobile keys to our partners. The idea is really that our partners are the guys driving our business, and you know, we want to give you and add as much value to your business as possible by giving you as much functionality as possible. We want you to be able to use Palladium to its absolute fullest, including the mobile application, so that your customers really see the value in this. Again, if you have any questions, you'd like any more information on this, please feel free to contact me directly. You've all got my email address, and we can chat further about it there. I'm going to now hand you over to Lerato, who's going to take you through Palladium Payroll.
Hi everyone, my name is Lerato Lebogo and I am a payroll consultant here at Palladium Payroll. As you may know, Palladium has had payroll for quite some time and have been functioning for quite some time. So again, thank you for joining us. And for those who may not know, Palladium Payroll is a cloud-based system, and we do focus on having just a time-saving automated system for your payroll and all your employees. So today's purpose is just to run you through all the features that we do have, our new features, and hopefully everything will be as clear as possible so that you can have quite a few ideas of what's happening in our system. So one of the best things that we do have right now is we have escalated our system to have a pastel payroll conversion. So with a pastel payroll conversion, again, just slide through that. All right. So we do have pastel payroll conversion, which allows you to convert for your pastel data to Palladium Payroll, and all you need to do is supply us with your payroll backup from your pastel, and we will import all your information for you. So we do import previous and current period payslip information and leave year-to-dates and so forth. So all you need to do is supply us with all your information from pastel payroll, and we will import that to Palladium Payroll. Another feature that we do have is your Netcash integration. So as you may know, most of our clients or most payroll systems are now moving over to Netcash, and we will have that feature. And with Netcash, it does allow for multiple payment methods. And it is a 3D security system and PCI compliant. So if you do make use of our Netcash, we do have that feature in Palladium Payroll, which will allow you to pay your employees using Netcash. Right? And with your ETI legislation update, as you may know, Palladium Payroll is always updated on the latest legislation. So we do have the latest legislation update regarding that for 4 months. For those who may not know, it caters for employees. The new points on that is that employees from 30 to 65 years qualify for ETI. And employees who didn't qualify before being employed in 2013 in October qualify. And for employees that were working 2 years and do qualify as well. And the enhanced ETI amounts now starts from 750 Rand. So we do have that feature where now you can trust Palladium Payroll to handle all the legislation updates for you. And we do have now your POPI changes. As with Palladium Accounting, we do have now enhanced passwords before stronger passwords, and we do have enhanced encryption in our databases. We do have session timeouts, and we do have email notifications. So every time someone logs in and out, anyone that is able to see that will be able to see that someone has logged in. And we do have our ESS. So we have ESS for a while now, but we do have a new interface where we include our Metro blocks, allowing your employees to quickly click on any feature that they may need, whether it's to change their personal information, apply for leave, or view their payslips. So it does apply for proper functionality for your employees, right? And basically, these are our features for your Palladium Payroll. And what do we have next? So we are hoping to jump over to cater for our African companies. For African countries for Palladium Payroll. And we are looking into next year working on Zimbabwe. And next year we will have Zimbabwe, and soon after that we'll be working on Zambia. And hopefully, that will encourage everyone to join Palladium Payroll using our Palladium Accounting as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and hope you have a great day further. I will handing over to Stephen, who will be doing the wrap.
Yeah, thanks, Lerato. So just before I hand over, Aldino's managed to find the password. So there's always got to be someone in a presentation that messes it up. So I'm just going to hand over to Aldino very quickly.
How's it going, everyone? Sorry about that. I was just super excited, so I forgot that I had Numlock on. So I'm just going to show you that web application for the PO approvals and requisitions. It's actually quite awesome. So I was super excited to show it to you. So the main idea behind this application was to streamline the reordering process. What we found out was that lots of clients would end up doing a requisition or following a PO approval only to realize, but hold on, I've ordered the stock, but I've already have stock in another warehouse. So what we've done was on a dashboard, allowed you to do firstly an inventory inquiry. And this integrates directly to the Evolution stock master file. So you could do an item inquiry on any one of your stock codes, and you can view availability by warehouse. When I go back to my dashboard, I can then decide, do I want to then purchase this order? And then phase 2 to this application would be to include internal requisitions. So for now, we just do the purchase requisitions and PO approvals, but phase 2 will include the internal requisitions on the application. So when I jump through onto my requisitions, I can view any requisitions that are currently on my name. Alternatively, I can add a new requisition. and it looks, it has a look and feel to the Evolution front end. And we have the option of doing a column chooser. So some clients might say, well, I don't need to see all of this. So I don't want to see my escalation group. I don't want to see my action, or take away and add whichever fields they want to. So I can choose my incident type. I can then go and add my rows. When I add my row, it'll ask me, are you buying stock, or do you want to purchase against a GL module? Or more often than not, our requesters don't know the stock code or the GL, so they could choose other. They can say that I just want to buy some apples. They can specify the supplier, or we can always choose a default supplier, and the approver, after viewing the 3 quotes or whatever the procurement procedure dictates, change it to the relevant supplier. I can then select the quantity that I want to purchase, and I can put in my expected price. I can also update my expected date, allocate it to a project. Alternatively, I can then choose an escalation group, or based on how we set up on Evolution, we can specify the workflow. So I'm not going to take you through the full process. If you require a full demo on this, it's quite awesome. Then you can contact sales, and we can spend some time. And then we can spend some time and we can go through it. So yeah, thanks for that, and sorry about the incorrect password. Back to Stephen.
So I think the last page here is the roadmap and release date.
So firstly, I think on the roadmap, we
started off with the Premium 2022 Release 1, which we will have Tuesday or Wednesday next week. And the only thing that's really got to be finalized in there is actually the registrations. A week later, we're looking at the, in fact, the end of the same week actually, is the version 22. And again, it's just the registrations that's being merged in there. Then on the 8th of October will be Enterprise. And one of the nice things that is under development at the moment that Donovan didn't mention is that the ability to scan expense claims with character recognition and the intelligent scanning using it's not OCR, it's using the Google Vision integration. So that's used on all your apps where you search for dogs and cats and facial recognition, etc. It's the same tool that we're using. And then obviously business 2022 with Poppy. So the new version, new releases, we're going to be calling 2022. And there was questions on the payroll. I just want to just double check here. So on the payroll, we will be releasing in order Zimbabwe, Zambia, and then Kenya. We are dependent on business partners on the outlying areas, and we've gone quite far with Zimbabwe, and hopefully we'll get something out in the next two months. We're aiming for the end of January, and it will probably take us between 2 and 3 months per country thereafter. We've got very strong development in that area, and we see that as a focus. Like I said, you see a lot of development in the peripherals because our focus is really getting Premium out into a cloud version. So the Premium version 3 with all the features, end of November, multi-units of measure, and then the end of January is really just the framework, because by then all modules will have been converted, but it's report tabs and the main landing page framework, etc. You'll see the dashboards is already in WPF. And one of the things we didn't touch on was the dashboards. You can actually create your own cubes, dashboards, Metro blocks, all sorts of things in there. And sorry, just logging off there. Sorry, closing. So I think just in a nutshell, to summarize things, the whole focus and all the development we've been doing is work smart and take away random or mundane tasks. It's been in the conversion from Evolution, the conversion from Partner. The importing of the documents has been reduced from 1 hour to a few minutes. In fact, I believe seconds. On the payroll, conversion from Pastel Payroll. You've noticed we're advertising on converting from other payroll products by imports. So we've been working very, very hard on automations, on the business alerts, on the mobile that you've seen. We've got almost mobility now on almost every feature throughout the system. If anything, you've learned today that Donovan's wife is Gigi, and he believes that we have the strongest Palladium mobile app ever because he's told you a few times. Aldino's the one that's technically challenged. And just a few other things. Alerts training is going to be part of the standard training that we release. If there's one thing I can tell you is this, that Palladium has gone from a 5-user to a 10 to a 20, 50, 100-user system. We're seeing the larger deals. And it is underpinned by the core database within Palladium and our infrastructure and features. But the truth is, SEC sells, and it's the business alerts and the automation and the mobility that people are looking for. If you can tell someone that if they put Palladium in, that we will manage low stocks, we would let them know before things go. If there's an abnormal order of a certain item, let's say 500, where an item sales is normally 10, the system will trigger an alert to order the stock. So the whole concept about increasing turnover, well, you've got to manage the turnover in order to sell it. So you've got to have turnover in stock. You've got to optimize that turnover. So we're all about automation, automation. People should be able to put in Palladium, double their business, and not hire more staff. In fact, the truth be known, if they put in Palladium, they really should be reducing the staff content because the system should be managing the entire business, and I say that very flippantly, by exception. You know, one of the things that Javesh showed you is really the business alerts is twofold. One is taking a database snapshot so that you can now start running from today onwards on changes, deletions, etc. That's why we do it, because we take a snapshot. And the other one is just running standard scheduled reports based on conditions. And those conditions are really limitless to a large extent. Phase 2 of the alerts will be updating databases. So a good example is someone changing a credit limit. We can go back and say, do you accept the credit limit, yes or no, and go back and or if you say no, we go update it and put it back. At the moment, notifications are email only. We'll soon be having SMSs, which is pretty simple to do. And again, notifications, we've also got actually in version 26, a very cool feature. I know I'm harping on now, which I do. I've got the mic. It's like karaoke. So one of the features we have is it's point of sale feature, push notifications. So when someone does a price override, and till 4 has a price override where the manager runs across to the till and keys it in, he does it on his phone. The POD on exiting, the POD management was actually managed for someone leaving the store. You scan the barcode at the top of the store, and it will record the barcode as scanned. Someone else goes up with the same till slip, and it says this has already been scanned on a POD. So the POD function actually wasn't designed for mobility in PODs. It was actually designed for security leaving a FMCG store. So lots of different features and lots of different things. So the premium, it's end of November 2021. Thank you very much, Mr. Kasedi. Clearly I put that in intentionally. I just wanted to make sure you guys were awake and someone was paying attention. So Angular browser. So if you look at the technology of our business alerts, and if you look at the technology of the Evolution approvals, it's actually developed using a framework called Angular. And we will be using Angular as a framework on Palladium going forward for the browser application. A lot of you are probably wondering what the hell we're doing with integrations to Evolution. So I think the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. But we've had probably 60 or 70 Evolution clients from our good old Sage Pastel days some 12 or 13 years ago. And they've sort of stuck with us through thick and thin. And because they wanted development, we did development for them. So we just realized this development's really so good. Why don't we commoditize it and on-sell it? It's a good way to introduce Palladium to your clients. Whether they may not want to switch to Palladium now, you can use this as a migration. So it's just an example of some of the tools that we've done already. I know a lot of the questions have been answered, and I know a lot of you have places to get to and do some billing, and obviously do some serious Palladium selling now that you've seen all of this. So we know that next week's going to be really busy. On a final note, I think one of the things that they say is, you know, when you've made it in business. Now we've made it in business, I think, is when you start advertising on TV, and you'll be a Palladium advert that's going to be out on TV from next week. We're doing 500 flightings in a 6-week period. At the moment, it's just in South Africa, but we will be looking to extend that into Africa. It's through the multi-choice MNet framework, DSTV, and that will be going out. We will also be doing a lot of LinkedIn, a lot of Google AdWords advertising. We have been doing it at the moment. We're extending it. In South Africa, we're extending a radio campaign to focus on the POPI Act, because the POPI is a massive opportunity for everyone. All of your guys out there using the partner databases, I probably shouldn't have said it, but the flat file, non-secure databases where there's no security, they couldn't be more non-POPI compliant. There's huge fines that goes out there. I think it's up to 10 million rand. But the fact is, you know, they're not doing their clients a service at all by running in these legacy databases. Forget about the data corruptions. Just look at all the functionality they're missing out on, let alone just compliance. So, and just another reason to get your clients to move. So I think I've said my say. Suffice to say that I'd like to wish everyone in South Africa a happy Heritage Day tomorrow. Hope you all behave very well. And I think Lloyd is going to just take over and show you the video. Like I said, there'll be training going out shortly, and you're all going to get a copy of this. And during the training, I think we'll do deep dives into all these features, and you'll be able to ask all the questions then.
The shape of modern business has changed, and you no longer have to force your software to fit your business. At Palladium, we believe in taking your business beyond accounting, with features designed to increase turnover, improve margins, and enhance operational efficiency. It's time to transform and let Palladium take your business beyond accounting.
Okay, so that brings this webinar to an end. We have taken note of all your questions. Unfortunately, our time is actually almost up, so we will just respond to them directly to each of you. And obviously, in closing, like I did say before, I'm the marketing coordinator. So if you guys need any assistance, any marketing collateral, please feel free to just send me an email. Once this webinar is ready, I'll also just share with you my contact details so we can just assist you to grow your businesses further.